I've been wanting to put this video on for some time actually. This is just to do with how you can take a third angle orthographic printout of your work from, say, a program like SketchUp and turn it into a model. Well, here's my printout. I've just kind of put it onto a PowerPoint and printed it out as best as I can. And what I've done is I've actually already cut this out and stuck it down onto some cardboard. So you can see here, this is an example of where I've stuck it on just with a glue stick and literally just cut around it. Now I've used a craft knife for this, which is really the best tool, but also a scissors. I got most of it done with the scissors. The bits you wouldn't be able to do with a craft knife is doing this sort of kerfing here, where you can get a bend into the material. And you can see here, the first time I did this, and I left a little bit of extra material so I could go around the arch better, is I've actually just marked out where I measured these lines, so I had that for the next model. And in actual fact, because I only printed out the front, the side and the base effectively, I had to use this as a template and I just drew around it. So I'm not going to show you that bit, that's very straightforward. I'm just going to show you, kind of talk to you about the techniques involved. Another thing I did was just get a texture and print it out, and I kind of measured it and I cut this strip out, which is going to go over the curved arch. I had to colour it in because my printer ran out of ink, which is perfectly fine. And I've also got these bits of bamboo skewer, which you'd normally use for skewering stuff in the kitchen. Now what I'm going to use today is I'm going to use a glue gun. I know not everybody's got a glue gun, but I'm going to be using tape at the same time. And then eventually what I'll do is I'll stick on my texture as well. Now just a little point, if you are using a craft knife, you use a cutting mat, cut away from yourself. You have to go over your cuts a number of times, and then when you get to little details like this, I left this in, you have to just gently worry them out. What you want to be extra careful of, and this actually happened here, is when you're cutting and when you're pulling things away, it actually pulls away the material. It is very thin in places, this cardboard. So let's get straight into the modelling. The first thing I'm going to do, you can start this anyway really, is I'm going to start off by gluing a base to the front. I'm going to just put a piece of tape over the edge, so that this is actually going to sort of stick together when I put it together, and I'm going to use a glue gun here. And what I'm going to just do is well actually it's going this way. I'm going to put a dot of glue here, or a blob of glue, and a blob of glue there. Might put one in the middle as well. You don't want to put big lines of glue, that's messy, it's dangerous, and you don't want to be doing that. So I'm going to push this on, and the reason I've got that tape here is you'll see very gently I'm just going to push that round the corner. This is a sort of a modelling technique to line things up perfectly. That's gone on quite nicely, just let that dry. Okay, now I've got these sticks to just help reinforce things, so I'm actually going to place these one up here actually at the arch, and that's the next thing I'm going to do. Take another piece of tape. I've already pre-cut my tape to be organised. You should always cut your tape first, because you get to the stage you've got the glue gun in your hand and it's no good. Just apply a few more dots of glue. Just going to sort of wedge that on there, and this is a great way to get good results every time. Obviously this is not a prototype, this is just a mock-up model, which I'm using for aesthetical purposes, so I can get my client opinion on what they think of the shape and also the texture of the veneer that I would use to finally cover this with. So I'm going to just put some glue at both ends. Always be super careful when using the glue gun, when using a craft knife, all that health and safety. Okay, so little things like bamboo sticks can be super helpful in just adding that extra piece of structure and adding a place for these to meet, because if you can see that, otherwise they wouldn't have just the edges here to meet. So I'm just going to let that dry for a sec. And when you're kerfing things, don't cut all the way through, just cut like halfway through. You're scoring the material to get that bend, to get that nice arch. And I've left a bit extra so that I can definitely reach up, and I've just kind of measured it by eye. Alright, I think I'm going to glue on one of the sides. So I'm just going to, I'll start with the base, just the legs, and then I'm not going to try and do everything at once, because this is very fast setting glue. And if you don't have a glue gun, don't worry, you shouldn't be going out of your way to buy things that you don't actually have. Just use tape. Tape's fine. Okay, so I'm just gluing that onto the side. There's a little bit of a gap. I'm not too worried. I can always take this. The great thing about these mock-up models, they don't have to be absolutely perfect to the edge. You know, you're just making sure that you've kind of got an idea. You're kind of communicating this. Right, I'm going to try and get this up here. Just a couple of blobs, maybe a couple on the inside. Just put in 3 blobs of glue there. And this is the part where you might be careful of getting yourself with any burns. I just want to try and follow that arch. I'm just holding it in place gently. This is actually starting to get structure. The structure of this starting to get stronger. I can feel it. It's becoming more rigid and sturdy. Pulling out those strands of glue where I can. I'm going to try and make this as neat as I can. And the finale, the last side. I'm going to glue that base first. And on it goes. Line it up. Give it a minute. Okay, and the final bit. You can see I did a bit of preparation for this video, so I was trying to make it as quick as possible, but you can take your time with the modeling, get it right. You don't have to rush it. I've kind of done this before, so I can. I'm trying to do this at speed for YouTube. And there we go. So we've got the actual model here. Should maybe present it this way. You can see there. Okay, maybe that could be glued a little bit better. Okay, just going to put a bit of glue on the outside. I'm not too worried. Because I'm going to poke it with a stick from the inside to push it out a bit into that. You can see that I'm actually just this bit here, this bit here, right here, that I'm trying to close a gap. I'm pushing it out from the inside out. See that? Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Now what I'm going to do is, this structure here is still kind of quite, I wouldn't say it's the most fragile, but I just want to be careful. I don't want to ruin all of this hard work that I've just done. So I'm going to actually glue the back of the printout from my laser printer, and I'm just going to do it that way. Alright, so let's line it up. I'm not gonna cover the feet, just gonna cover the rough edges, and I'm just gonna try and get that over. You can see here I kind of measured it out by putting a dot on it. I'm just gonna push that around a bit and try and just gently push in a peak at the top. Yeah. And that is now starting to look like a veneer. There's a little extra here, I could cut that away. And that is essentially a model that you can use for getting your client opinion and you know, kind of taking it and developing it further. Or this could be your very final model, and you know, you could get sort of like a client talking to you a bit about, you know, what they think about it, what bits do you think they can maybe change. And I hope that's been of some help. Obviously glue guns are really good for modeling, but you can use tape. I would actually sort of suggest, if you are using tape like masking tape or clear tape or double-sided tape, you maybe model a little bit bigger, because for the delicate aspects a glue gun is very good at holding things in place. Anyway, I hope that's been helpful, and enjoy your modeling. You know, 3D sort of bit of practical is really, you know, it's fun, and enjoy it. Bye.